This looks unsafe, right? Then why is it so good? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. If you're from America, this might look a little scary at first. There's fire, smoke, tiny stools, and traffic 2 feet away from your dinner. And apparently, this tiny blue chair is my dining room tonight. But here's the weird part. Everyone around me looks completely happy. This bowl costs less than a coffee back home and somehow smells incredible. So today, I'm testing the biggest street food question. Does messy mean dangerous, or does messy mean delicious? Because from the outside, this looks chaotic. But maybe chaos is exactly where the flavor lives. I'm going in with an open mind, but also with a very cautious stomach. Before I taste it, I want to understand what's actually happening here. This isn't a restaurant trying to look perfect. This is a kitchen built for speed, heat, and survival. Okay, that smells way better than it looks. Way better than it looks. There's lime, chili, herbs, grilled meat, smoke. This is not boring food. Wait, hold on. Hold on. That is actually amazing. Like aggressively flavorful. It hits smoky, sweet, salty, spicy, sour, all at once. I judged this place in 10 seconds and the food just humbled me. There's something about food cooked right in front of you that feels alive. The chair is uncomfortable. The table is tiny. The flavor is ridiculous. And the best part, you control the final flavor yourself. But now I have to ask the real question. Why does food that looks this simple taste this good? I think the answer is not fancy equipment. It's rhythm. So let's break it down. Because this little street stall is smarter than it looks. First, freshness. A lot of street food is bought, cooked, and sold the same day. These herbs are not decoration. They're part of the engine. Nothing here feels like it's been sitting in a fridge for a week, waiting for someone to order it. When a stall is busy, food moves fast. Ingredients don't just sit there forever. Second, heat. Street food uses high heat, fast cooking, and constant motion. This is not slow, sleepy cooking. This is 8-second decision making. That heat creates smoke, char, crispy edges, and flavor you can't fake. That little burnt edge right there, that's the difference between okay and unforgettable. Third, balance. Vietnamese street food rarely depends on one flavor. You get freshness from herbs, richness from meat, brightness from lime, heat from chili, and depth from sauce. It's not trying to be complicated. It's trying to be complete. And maybe that's why this works. The food doesn't need a perfect room. The flavor is already doing the job. The menu is small. The technique is repeated all day. That means skill gets sharper. Back home, sometimes we confuse expensive with better. Here, better might just mean practiced 1,000 times. But the food is only half the story. The other half is where you eat it. In Vietnam, the sidewalk is not just a sidewalk. Sometimes it's the dining room of the city. You're not separated from the city, you're inside it. Street food is not just about eating, it's about being near people. In a fancy restaurant, you buy privacy. On the street, you buy participation. Everything feels close. The cook, the food, the people, the street, the noise. Is this chair comfortable? Absolutely not. Is this experience unforgettable? Also yes. There's a reason food tastes different when you can see the hands that made it. There's no hidden kitchen, no mystery, the whole process is right there. That transparency is part of the trust. You watch it happen. You watch it happen. Maybe that's why street food feels honest. It doesn't pretend to be perfect. The imperfections are part of the memory. This is not just dinner. This is a front row seat to how a city eats. I came in asking, is this safe? Now I'm asking, why don't we eat like this more often? The food is simple, but the feeling is big. So here's the real lesson. Clean doesn't always mean safe, and simple doesn't mean bad. A place can look polished and still serve old food. A stall can look chaotic and still cook fresh all day. The real question is not just how a place looks, it's how the food moves. Fresh ingredients, high heat, fast turnover, and a crowd that keeps the kitchen alive. That doesn't mean every street stall is perfect. You still use common sense. Pick places with lots of customer, food cooked hot, and ingredients that look fresh. But don't judge a food culture by your first 5 seconds of fear. Because sometimes the best food doesn't look expensive, it looks alive. This is the kind of meal you don't just taste. You remember where you were when you ate it. I started suspicious, I ended up impressed. And honestly, this might be one of the most honest meals I've had in Vietnam. No fancy branding, no perfect table, just skill, heat, ingredients, and people. So does street food look unsafe sometimes? Yeah, but does that mean it's bad? Not even close. Sometimes what looks messy is actually movement. What looks simple is actually mastery. And when it works hard. So be honest, would you try this? Street food doesn't need to look perfect, it just needs to make you feel something.